Hello everyone, Jack here from Gingerbets and welcome to the Gingerbets Golf Betting Insights YouTube channel and show. This week, it's the second major of the year, the PGA Championship taking place at Southern Hills Golf and Country Club in Oklahoma. It's going to be a great test this week, a new course for us to look at with not loads of data, but we do have last year's event where the seniors took place. We're going to be looking at the course for the first time. And in this show, as ever, if you're new to the channel, let me tell you what's coming up in the next 10, hopefully no longer than 15 minutes. We're going to have a course preview. We're going to have a look at the key skill sets required. We're going to bring you some players to avoid at the top of the market. And I've not been shy in avoiding some of the big names here. So that'll make for some interesting viewing. And then we've got our best big price picks. And finally, our outside, or should I say, our best outright selections for this week's PGA Championship. So all that's coming your way in the next 10, 15 minutes. Before I get into the show, let me remind you, if you're new to this channel and you are enjoying your golf content, you're looking to take it more seriously in 2022 and beyond, then have a look in all the description box below of where this is being aired. You will see details of the Gingerbets Golf Betting Insights weekly newsletter. This is no sales pitch, no spam, just one well-researched newsletter that's sent to your inbox each and every Monday that will help save you time and make you more informed when placing your golf wagers. So have a look in the description box. If you're not yet signed up to it, you are missing out, I'm sure of it. So sign up. It'll become part of your golf weekly reading, I'm sure. So let's get into this week's show. Well, as we said, we're going to look at the course first off, then the key skill sets required, and then get into some of the players to avoid, some of the players that we want on side at a big price, and those all-important outright selections. So the course itself this week, Southern Hills Country Club, par 70. It does play as a par 71 for the members, but it'll be a par 70 for the pros this week. The 16th, the par 5 has been changed from a 525-yard par 5 to a par 4. So that'll be a demanding hole for the players now. It's got bent grass greens to contend with this week, and then Bermuda grass fairways and rough for the players. When looking at the course and doing our research, there's been dramatic changes from the early 2000s when Tiger last won the major championship here. And anyone who's tuned into golf media this week will know that the seniors event that was played here last year provides some good insights. The fairways have been widened. It is a lot less penile off the tee than it was in the past. And it is now a second shot golf course, if anything, or everything that we're reading is to be believed. Like I say, it is a course that we don't have loads of data. So we're having to make some assumptions when pulling together our key skill sets this week. But we are going to look and take into account the thoughts of last year where the seniors turned up, and also look at some of the data that has come out of the previous major championships that were held here. So let's get into those key skill sets that are going to be required to lift that trophy come Sunday evening. What are they? Well, if you're doing your own research or if you're following Gingerbets blindly, then I encourage you to look at these key areas. And it starts off with tee to green performance over recent times. You're not going to come and find your game at a major championship, and certainly not this one. Much like the Masters, this is an event you have to arrive with decent form in the bag if you're going to lift that delightful trophy come Sunday evening. So do have a look at tee to green performance. That's the foundation of my research this week. The key stat that everyone will talk about and will be the most significant factor, in my opinion, will be green in regulations gained. We can see it there on the screen, but green in regulations gained is going to be such a critical factor. So we don't want players that fire at every pin. We want players that are patient, that have the ability to just hit the middle of the green and by default give themselves outside birdie looks. We then want to look at strokes gained off the tee. I encourage you to definitely look at this area this week. And the reason being, as we've touched upon, the fairways are now double the width they were in the early 2000s. Since the redesign, it is a lot more generous off the tee. And if the quotes are to be believed, this is a bomber's track. So do take that into account when building your final portfolio. I know that certainly I've got some big hitters on side in my final selection. So stay tuned for those. They're coming your way in the next 5-6 minutes. Then I want to look at strokes gained around the green. It is so important at major championships that you scramble well. By default, you're going to miss 20-25% of the greens. Even if you're the #1 green in regulations hitter on the week, you're going to hit around 80-78% of the greens, I would say, this week. We might see that up to 85 in a standard PGA Tour event, but not this week. I would expect 80 will be somewhere near the top of the shot, and therefore you're going to have to get up and down 20% of the time if you're going to want to contend. And that brings me on to the final point. It's bogey avoidance. Major championship golf, there is no such thing as a bad par. It's about minimizing mistakes. And as the saying goes, the tournament or a major championship doesn't start till the back nine comes Sunday. And what we want to do is give ourselves a best chance of putting ourselves in position, and we do that by making the least mistakes. So they are the 5 key skill sets that I believe are going to be required to lift that trophy come Sunday night. If you're enjoying this type of content, then may encourage you to sign up to the weekly newsletter that is available. All of the details are in the description box below of this video, and wherever it's being streamed, I'm sure that those details will be there. It's substack.gingerbets.com, and it's one well-researched information or newsletter direct to your inbox each and every week. So I said I'm going to be brave and put some players to lay. Well, let's get straight to it. These are the players that I want to lay at the top of the leaderboard. These are not the ones that are 200 to 1, 300 to 1 in the market that have no chance of winning. These are players at the top of the shop that the market says has a chance, but I'm keen to avoid. And first off, it's Viktor Hovland. He's still got a top 10 in major championships. That's going to change, obviously, one day, but there's going to be a big emphasis on short game this week, I believe, and that is something that he's lacking in. The second player that I want to lay is Bryson DeChambeau. He's out of form completely. He's got 2 missed cuts from 5 PGA Tour championships in his career, but he's out of form. He's got injury prone right now, and he's outside the top 100 in approach play. And we've touched on this is a second shot golf course, so he'll do for me as a lay this week. Bear with me. Sorry, I'm just finding these. And then the most risky of the portfolio that I'd like to lay. I can't believe I'm doing it because he's a player that I will think will win 5, 6, 7 majors in his career. But this week on long golf courses, this is courses over 7,400 yards in length, which this one is, then Colin Morikawa doesn't have great stats in his favor, and therefore I'm willing to take him on. I may have egg on my face come Sunday night because he is an elite level golfer, the top 3 golfer in the world in my view, but I'm going to take him on this week on a course that I'm not sure suits him off the tee box, or should I say off the tee box or around the greens. I think there's going to be an emphasis on short game. Don't think that's right up his street. Yes, I've touched on it's a second shot golf course, but his stats on long golf courses aren't quite as good as people think, and the data's there on the screen for you to see. So they're my 3 to lay at the top of the market. We've got Morikawa, we've got Hovland, and we've got Bryson DeChambeau. I'm going to whiz through some of the players that I believe have a massive chance at a big price. And first up, it's Mark Leishman. He's ranked 6th in bogey avoidance over the last 36 rounds, 5th in scrambling, on a course that's wide open fairways that should put an emphasis on short game. He's got one of the best short games on tour. If you listen to podcasts around the circuit, they all talk about the hands that he's got, much like Shane Lowry and Patrick Lead. He is a player that they all talk having an immaculate short game. And I think that that could come into account this week. And I'm going to put him up at a huge price to be a player that can outperform his odds. The second player at a big price I'm putting forward, Gary Woodland. He's got a return. He's returned to form over the last 6 months with some real good finishes. 2 top 10s at the PGA Championship and his last 4 visits. He plays long and demanding golf courses well. He's also got 3 top 10s in his last 8 events worldwide. A bit of rustiness. He should have probably won one of those events where he was trading odds on with just a couple of holes to go. He plugged in a bunker, and then that's all she wrote. He made bogey on 17, bogey on 18, and shot himself out of contention, but he probably should have got the job done. Well, with a bit more game time under his belt, injury-free now, 6th in bogey avoidance, plays super long golf courses well. He's massively long off the tee himself. I think that he can outrun his odds at a huge price this week. And last but not least, it's Fitzy, Matt Fitzpatrick. He's put on so much length over the last 6 months. Gone are the days of him being classed as a short hitter. He is not. Go and have a look at the stats. They will prove that to be. Go and look at his Twitter feed. He constantly goes on about the length that he's put on. He's somebody that's improved his game dramatically. He's in the most consistent form of his life. He's got 5 top 10s in his last 8 events. He's gained strokes tee to green in every single one of them, showing that his game's in good shape, either off the tee, with his approach play, and around around the green. He's an elite level putter. His bogey avoidance stats are second over the past 36 rounds on these difficult courses. And I believe that he is ready to make a decent push at a major championship. He won't be a popular choice among many, but I think he's got the mentality and the confidence in his game right now to make a push. So he'll be some outsiders to consider. And now for the bit that you all really tune in for, the headline selections. And the headline selection, the player that I'm most keen on, is probably the biggest of my outright picks in terms of price, or not probably, he is. Let's get to it. First selection for me to go to war with this week is Hideki Matsuyama. He's available at 46 to 1 on 48 to 1 on the exchanges just yesterday. He's been clipped in. He was 33 to 1 William Hill in the UK, 40 to 1 BetMGM in the USA. Those prices will not last because he performed really well on Sunday at the Byron Nelson. He's got 2 wins in his last 10 starts, that should be. He's ranked second in approach play, and we've touched on this is a second shot course. You should have seen his hybrids and his long irons yesterday going into some of those tight pins. He's absolutely dialed in. There's talk of him having a neck injury. I'm not so sure that that's bothering him too much when looking at his play. He's a player that's proven he can do it under the most immense pressure, winning a green jacket and winning trophies in his home country. He will headline the portfolio 33 to 1. 8 places or 9 places available. William Hill's a place to go and get it. 40 to 1 in the US. Hideki Matsuyama. Second up is a player that's another proven major champion. He's got 6 top 10 finishes at the PGA Championships already in his career. Not bad stats, 2 of those being runners-up. And then statistically on tough and challenging courses, he sets up really well. I do have a slight concern that he's not coming in peak form, but in major championships, his mentality, his approach to the game, I think is worth quite a lot. And if he gets rolling on days 1 and 2, then I think that could stand him in good stead. He's 9th in strokes gained tee to green off the tee on hard courses over the last 36 rounds. First off the tee stats, first in par 4 scoring. This is on tough, demanding tracks. Remember, he dominates them, and that's what the players are going to face this week. He's in the top 20 in bogey avoidance. He arrives off the back of a decent prep at the Byron Nelson. DJ 18 to 1, 8 places available in the UK, and he's also 18 to 1 in the US. He'll be the second selection. Third up then is a player that I just can't leave out. He's again a bit like Fitzpatrick in some of the most consistent form of his career. 7 top 10s in his last 10 starts. Super long off the tee. 3rd in strokes gained tee to green performance. 2nd in scrambling over the last 36 rounds. 10th in around the green performance over the last 36 rounds on tour. He's also got green in regulation stats in his favour. He's a patient golfer. I'm sure he's got the mentality to win a major. This is the major championship that players do often break their duck and win their first in. And I believe Patrick Cantlay has an outstanding chance. 22 to 1 in the UK, 22 to 1 best price in the US. BetMGM's the place for that. So take a look. He will be the 3rd selection of the week. And the last but least inspiring selection, but I cannot leave him out. Jon Rahm statistically sets up so well this week. He dominates off the tee. He comes in off the back of a win at the Mexican Open where he didn't have his A game, but he still got the job done. Where Rory the week after turned up at the Wells Fargo in a similarly weak field. He started well, but he didn't get the job done. He hasn't got his A game right now. I'm not saying Rahm's got his A game, but his B game is certainly more consistent than many in the field. And he will be a win-only selection. He's ranked 1st off the strokes gained off the tee over the last 36 rounds on tough courses. He's 1st in green in regulations gained on tough courses over the last 36 rounds. He's 5th in tee to green performance. If his flat stick works, should I say, this week, he's bound to go close. So he will be my 4th selection. He's not the most inspiring pick, but at 14 to 1 in the UK and 12 to 1 in the US, I believe that he has to make the portfolio this week. That will be my 4 for the week. Well, good luck with all your selections this week. If you've enjoyed this content, if you've enjoyed the show, then can I ask a few favors of you? Please share the newsletter that if you're subscribed to it and you've received that recently, make some comments in the YouTube description box. Tell me who you believe is going to win this week, who your top 20 picks are, or what you do and don't like about what I've put forward this week. I'll be look forward to reading those comments. And before I leave you, may I encourage you to head over to the Gingerbets Golf Betting Insights YouTube channel, subscribe and like these videos. Help me get more visibility on the channel. I would be most grateful. And like I say, if you're enjoying the content, then it makes sense to sign up to the newsletter. So get yourself on that newsletter. There is no sales pitch. There is no spam. It's just well-researched information to save you time and make you more informed when placing your golf wagers. Thank you for listening. I said I'd wrap up within 15 minutes, and that's what I'm going to do. It's 15 minutes on the dot. Good luck with all your selections this week, and I'll be back later in the week for a halfway house report. Don't forget, follow on all the social media channels. Thanks for listening, and bye from me.